Disclaimer. The conversations, ideas, plans, and other content of this podcast do not constitute advice about investing in cryptocurrency or any other types of investment. We are learners, not investment experts, and we intend this podcast only to be a record of our own journey into cryptocurrency investments. Enjoy.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Crypto Club. Getting started with crypto is the name of this show. I am your host, the Bitcoin Evangelist, and as usual, I'm joined with people who should look like they probably will be appearing in a lineup shortly. So, Christian, say hello.
What's up, everybody?
James.
Hey.
Introducing our newest criminal, Blair. Say hi.
Hi.
Joe is over there.
What up?
Looking like he's going to steal your child in the corner. And Wilson in the back says hello.
Punch him.
Or punch your child, either way.
Punch your child in the corner.
Well, teach him to steal Joe's Legos. All right, so it is the last day of the year. 2018 is right around the corner, and all of us are feeling super depressed about the new tax laws that are going into effect. So,
there is some hope, though.
As we celebrate this year before we face tomorrow's troubles, because we deal with that bridge when we get to it, we're going to do a quick portfolio. Yeah, we're going to do a quick portfolio recap just to find out how we're doing. So Blair is brand new to this discussion, and so how is your portfolio looking right now?
It's outstanding. I have not lost a dime.
Okay, so Blair is killing it. Christian, how are you?
Yeah, so I started about 6 weeks ago, and I'm currently up about 250%. So I'm doing okay.
Feeling pretty good. James?
Actually, as far as my portfolio goes, it's pretty low since before Christmas. Like Christmas, there was a big spike up. My portfolio looked super sexy. And then there's a fat spike down. I almost killed myself.
Dip of December 21st.
Right. And then now it's kind of
great dip.
It's just come back up to like reasonably good.
All right
now.
James, I'm sorry, Joe.
Shut up.
So right now my portfolio's up about 47% in the last week. Yeah, in the last week or so. Everything's been kind of, 2 weeks.
They can't see that motion, so you got to describe what that is.
Yeah,
masturbation.
Not a visual podcast.
Yeah, man. I don't do this. Everything's been going good. I agree with him. Around Christmas time, it went down considerably, and then about the 27th, I had a good spike back up.
All right,
and
Chris.
Everything's back to normal.
I lost all mine in bad trades, and if anybody's listening.
All right, so you are down 4,000%.
Yep, I'm claiming a loss this year, so
so no taxes.
As far as anyone's concerned, I've lost everything.
So in the last
tax that
can't tax zero, Uncle Sam.
They can.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, so for me in the last week, I'm up 90% there, so that's been a pretty decent week. Really excited for this new year. So with this, we wanted to turn this episode into kind of a year in review, and we really wanted to look at the calls that we have made that we were going to invest in. So we were just going to walk you very quickly through the calls that we had made at the start of the podcast, and then just to review how they're doing. So Basic Attention Token, or BAT, was the first thing that we invested in on the 23rd at 14 cents, and it currently sits at 41. Then we moved into Stellar Lumens. That was from 3 cents on November 7th up to 35 as it sits of this recording.
Who didn't get their lumens?
And yeah, I feel bad for whoever missed out on that train. Grosso Coin, November 14th, went from 50 cents to $1.51, so a nice triple there. UKG, which I did not get in on, went from 16 cents up to 60, which really frustrates me. Cobb, when we talked about it, was at 13 cents, but the majority of us actually got in around a nickel to 7 or 8 cents, and it actually peaked at 70 when it was on the Cobb and Hood exchange when it first launched, but right now it currently sits at 17 cents. IOTA on the 4th, 250 is up to 354 now. Tron on the 11th from half a penny to about 4 cents, and that's tremendous. The gains on that are nuts. Verge, the one I am in love with that John McAfee is trying to ruin, went from a nickel to it's sitting at about 23 cents right now. So Wilson pointed out very correctly that it is easy to make money in a bull market, and we would definitely be the first ones to admit that we don't necessarily know what we're doing.
I just throw darts.
And yeah, that's pretty much how it feels.
You'll get one eventually, right?
And that's it. And so if you've got a lot of cash to burn, eventually something will come through and help you out. So we're really, really excited for the next upcoming year. We think it's going to be a tremendous thing. So I want to start this and just have 2 predictions that we're going to focus on today. All right? The first one is, what do you think Bitcoin will be by the end of 2018?
Ooh.
How high do you think the price will go, or how low do you think it'll sink by 2018, gentlemen?
What's McAfee say?
He's saying $1 million by 2020. Otherwise, he eats his private part on TV. So
yes, that would be great. So I'll do my part to make sure that never happens, so that we can see.
You gotta whale the market over there.
yeah. Controlling my my section of the market for corruption. I think a realistic guess would probably be 50, 60
for next year. Okay, Christian, what do you think?
I'm gonna put it at 75K. If it doesn't hit it, James, I'm volunteering you to eat an organ of yourself.
Okay.
See, I'm also going.
I do
on
that
like
on
a
the
very,
rig.
very safe.
What do you think,
flexible,
James?
You know, I have a lot of random feelings on this one. On the one hand, like I've not liked the trend downward lately. I mean, it dipped down to like 12.5 at one point when it was almost at 20. So that was a huge like when it was nipping at 20. I expected it to dip down to 16 because there's always like a 20% dip with Bitcoin. It always spikes up, 20% down. But it went way more than 20% down. It really spiked down. So if you were talking to me a few weeks ago, I would have said, 100K by the end of 2018. But now I don't feel very confident. One of the reasons why I fear that it may not have a big spike up like it has in the past, and I could be totally wrong, but a lot of the big exchanges that were like Bitcoin was almost exclusive, like take Coinbase, right? For a long time, if you purchase on Coinbase, you can only get Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin, right? But now there's Bitcoin Cash, its biggest competitor. Now you can buy on Coinbase. There are rumors of a few others going on there, including Monero. Was that one of the rumors? Ripple.
Now, Monero won't be added because it's a privacy coin.
Ripple. But there's a few others as well. And every time like these exclusive spots that Bitcoin once enjoyed, it becomes less exclusive. I personally believe there's less reason for it to have the big gains that it used to have. So
that's a really interesting.
No,
thought.
I think it's a good point that you're bringing up, because I mean, I'm obviously still very bullish, but as people are introduced to these new coins that are being issued to Coinbase, I think people are going to quickly realize Bitcoin, the technology behind it is outdated and archaic. It's to send one Bitcoin from one wallet to another take hours and hours, and then you're going to be paying enormous fees.
$40 in fees I've seen.
Yeah,
dude.
It's become a storage of value and money. It's not a coin that you typically exchange, but we've already seen Ripple in the past week surpass Ethereum in market cap, and really going to be, I think, biting at Bitcoin in this next year.
Yeah.
So Blair, I want to get your opinion on this, mainly because you're fresh eyes. So you have paid attention relatively close, right from the sidelines, in terms of being associated with Bitcoin and seen its trajectory in some way. So obviously you know about the massive run up that it's had this year. And as it sits right now, it's currently trading at 13.8 there. So if you had to put a number on it, they're just based on the little or lot that you do know, what do you think it'll hit in the year to come?
Yeah, I am an underinformed opinion. That's for sure.
That's all of us.
That's what we do here.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to getting started with crypto.
Just say it confidently.
Dude,
Take
that's
another drink
all
of
it
your
is,
beer,
man.
and then you will be super confident.
Hey, that's how you get promoted in places.
I just don't. I don't know how it can keep going higher with the competition it has, with the fees. I saw somebody had posted a picture just to show how bad it was, where they sent like $3 worth of Bitcoin and were charged $14 worth of fees. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
My brother,
I don't understand how that works.
My brother, the first time he bought, he accidentally did that, and like the fee was, I think he ended up eating like 50% of what he just bought, and like the fee to transfer. It was just like, oh man, like that's crazy. But you have to pay attention to the transaction. Like that's one of the keys. Is
it seems like a fad. There's no commodity that we other than something like this that we would accept that kind of exchange for.
Yeah, so and I would agree with that. So you're saying relatively slow growth, there's no chance, or you're saying it's going to go down at the end of 2018, or stay relatively similar?
I don't know that I could say whether it's going to go up or down.
Put an up or down on it, big dog. You're in the club now.
I'm gonna say that I wouldn't put any money in it. How about that?
Okay, all right. That speaks volumes.
That's fair enough.
I'm gonna guess 35K by the end of 2018. So I'm gonna guess the growth probably by somewhere in terms of kind of cut in half based on where it's at. I think futures are still going to play a big deal. I think that when smart money comes into the discussion, it's still people are going to say, I don't care that it costs a $100 fee for this because I'm going to put in $1 million worth or whatever it is, right? When big firms start investing or big players coming in, and I'll just sit and let it wait for the fee to transfer because I'm using it as, like you said, it's a commodity and it's a storage of wealth now.
So, speaking of futures, a little side tangent here. I have a little bit of a theory.
A theory?
Actually,
boom!
right now.
Welcome to the podcast.
But once we saw that futures were coming, that's when we saw Bitcoin go on its biggest run of the year, touching 20,000.
Absolutely.
So that's telling me that the whales...
Also, Tether got hacked around that same time there.
True
so
that.
some money from Tether was going into Bitcoin. So that 20 is kind of inflated.
So we saw Tether going in, but where I think we saw the majority of money coming in was from whales and institutionalized money trying to drive up the price of Bitcoin. Soon as futures come out, what happens?
Short
The
it,
dip.
short
So
it, short it,
they
short it.
doubled down. They doubled their money. They made money driving it up, and then they shorted it and made all the money driving it back down. Now, to start the new year, my thought is that they're gonna be buying, and they're gonna be on March on the futures, predicting that it's gonna be going upwards and double dip again.
Yeah, and to let the conspiracy theorists come out of me for a moment, like right after all that drama happened, that's when a lot of these stock market institutions started announcing that they'd like start opening up positions for.
Yep.
So it seems like they might have tried playing around with the market, had good luck manipulating it, and now they're like, okay, let's do this like legit. Like let's
continue to
right.
Yeah.
Let's announce that we are gonna now start dealing in this stuff because we proved to ourselves we can manipulate the market.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so one quick piece of news that's just worth noting. The U.S. dollar is going to end 2017 as its worst year since 2003.
When I first read that, I thought it was going to end in 2018. I'm like, I don't think so.
It's a bold prediction.
Yeah, the U.S. dollar has recorded the largest annual decline and is forecasted to end 2017 in a fourth quarter low against major currencies like the Chinese yuan and the Japanese yen. And the dollar is continuing its downpour. It's down like some 70-odd% since like the 70s there. But meanwhile, Bitcoin itself is up 1,341% in value. And it's not even the most profitable coin this last year. Ripple, Litecoin, Dash, and Ethereum. And if Jimmy has his way, Dogecoin will be making a run here in the last final hours of the year. And so I love this because of what it represents in terms of people's thought process towards trying to get out of fiat and taking a little bit of power and control back for themselves. Now, if we're realistic, I think you're right. I don't think it's going to have another 1,000 plus percentile year. But if we can get half of that, right? If you can even see relatively close to the 50% mark of that, that means massive gains for us in 2018. And beyond that, it's going to be another year for the altcoin, right? So 1,300 altcoins this year, basically everything that's not Bitcoin. And so things will continue to grow. New floors are going to rise there. So we are looking very good for the year to come.
Well, to look at numbers wise, it went from 1,000 to ending the year around 13.5. That's where they get that 13,000%, 1,300%, 1,300% numbers, because it went from 1,000 a coin to around 13.5. So for your prediction, which was you think it'll end at like 35?
35.
So that's only a bit more than a 300% from where it's at now. Yeah. So last year grew 1,300. You only needed to grow 300.
Right. And that's why I'm playing a little bit safe, because I think the futures are going to kind of mess with the market a little bit now that there's more institutional money involved.
Yeah, and part of the reason I'm still pretty bullish on Bitcoin is we've seen some major dips this past month. But every time it dips down and touches its trend line,
30%,
it bounces right back up. 30%. It hasn't broken that trend line yet. When I see that happen, then maybe I might have to reevaluate my opinion of what Bitcoin's going to be doing.
Okay, not for how much it's worth in total, but how much it will grow. Mm-hmm. Which one do you think is a better investment, Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash?
Okay, so this is great. I'm going to say Bitcoin still. But mainly because I have severe problems with Bitcoin Cash.
Bitcoin Cash makes me nervous.
This is exactly what I wanted to chat about before we end this episode. Yeah. So, here's the difference. We've actually had people reach out to us via YouTube and ask us to talk about the difference between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So we'll Google it so you don't have to. But basically, what we're realizing is that Bitcoin faces a massive identity crisis between those who want it to be a store of value currency and people who want it to be a daily spender. So an example is Overstock.com has been taking Bitcoin since 2014. If you buy a couch on Overstock.com with Bitcoin, I'm going to come to your house and punch you in the face because that is not what Bitcoin is anymore, right? It's a commodity that you hold on to and watch grow. Bitcoin Cash, though, has gone the other way and is trying to be more of a daily spender. And what's the name of Bitcoin Cash's CEO? There,
Dude guy?
yeah. First of all, why a crypto needs a CEO? There is super unsettling to me. I really don't like that. The guy is a total tool, in my own opinion.
Rick Falkvinge?
And yeah, Rick, whatever. But super smart guy, knows how to manipulate the market. There's some pretty decent evidence that
pirate, man.
yeah. There's some pretty decent evidence that Coinbase was doing some insider trading with them in order to get Bitcoin Cash onto their site, and things are feeling a little iffy there. I don't understand why he's trying to sink Bitcoin, right? Is kind of the consensus in the conspiracy circles that I run. So I don't know. You've got thoughts? You've got thoughts.
I mean, I think this whole Bitcoin Cash battle, it's not good for either Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash. It's scaring investors like myself from going into either Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash. And then I see Ripple, I see Ethereum, and I don't see all this drama.
You better not be investing in Ripple.
I'm going into Ripple. I believe that I can make money on it, and that's good enough for me.
That Ripple so hard.
I know
Ripple's money.
Satoshi's the dream of Satoshi, and it's not what Bitcoin and crypto is supposed to stand for.
It's the single most centralized thing there is. People are like, oh, let's get in the bank zone. I hate Ripple.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the model, but I'm a fan of making money.
Absolutely. So you're getting started, right?
I'm not a big fan of selling out unless I'm the one selling out making money.
Just so you know, I will never be in Ripple except for the 50% of my portfolio I have in it right now. Yeah, and so there's room for both, really, in the economy, and so it doesn't have to be this competition, right? Bitcoin Cash on GDAX, when it reached its peak, was trading at 9 Gs there through the back end there, and it had been frozen.
Insider trading?
And no way, there's no way that it wasn't, dude. With how much they were pumping that thing. And
Allegedly.
I know they're investigating. I don't think anything's come out of the investigation yet. But
no, of course not, right? Because
I mean, what can they do?
Coinbase is so freaking dodgy at best, dude, and it's super frustrating. Yeah. No, you keep throwing those in. That's good because you're saving us. And Wilson is the backstop of this whole thing, so that's good. Anyway, I hate it. And if you can stay out of Bitcoin Cash, I think you're good to do so. Ride its waves. It's sitting around $2,300 a coin right now or so.
Yeah, I honestly just hop in and out real quick when it's on a dip.
Yeah, it's not worth anything in terms of the longevity of it because things like Dash will probably be closer to being like your daily, like the thing that you buy bread with. So, any last thoughts before we sign off for the year?
Oh, we're not signing off. We got to talk about what our coin
my bad.
is.
We got the coin that we're going to invest in. Duh. And this is my coin. My fault. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
What's wrong with you?
So, okay. I wanted to bring this up and see what you guys thought. We have talked largely about privacy coins in the last recording, that is saying like, hey, this is going to be big in 2018 with all the taxes coming up with the U.S. stuff, so it might be worth getting in on. The other thing I'm looking into and becoming obsessed with is healthcare. And as medical stuff specifically tries to move to blockchain technology and utilize it for...
I don't know how I feel about that.
better connections with its... transactions between between hospitals.
If you trust
information.
Well, my thing is, if you trust your money with crypto and blockchain, why wouldn't you trust your medical record? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same. It's the same concept. It's the same concept behind it. Like, if it's safe, it's safe. Like, if it works, it works. Like, that's the philosophy.
Okay, so here's an interesting statistic, right? The coin that we're talking about today is called Patientory, and it's PTOY. And here's the one thing I want to read right now. Healthcare data breaches totaled over $112 million in 2015, costing the U.S. healthcare organizations itself over $6 billion in damages. Your sensitive and private healthcare data is not safe. Now, again, this is from the Patientory website, so take that with a grain of salt, or just understand where it's coming from there. But Patientory itself basically empowers patients, clinicians, and healthcare orgs to safely access, store, and transfer information, thus improving coordination while ensuring data security. It interconnects with any EHR system, which enables doctors, care providers, and consumers to communicate on a single, easy-to-use platform. And we also connect consumers to connect with the larger community. So it checks out on all those boxes, right? It ticks them. What's the issue? healthcare breaching and data sensitivity. What's their fix? A single unifying platform utilizing cryptography that hasn't been hacked yet in any type of way, and being able to recognize that. The team is an excellent dev team. It's using blockcheck to ensure end-to-end encryption while adhering to regulatory guidelines and compliance requirements. The head of the team, let me see her name is, where is he? Yeah, Krista McFarlane is super familiar with the healthcare system. I just listened to an interview that she did on, what's it called? Crypto 101 podcast, which is an excellent podcast there. Totally want to shout it out there. And when she's super familiar with the business side, has been a part of the healthcare industry for the last half decade or so there. And so she's not new into this discussion. It's got a decent community. And the thing that I like about it, it's been around for a while. So it's not like this brand new coin, or it's not something that has any type of lacking track record.
It's at 60 cents right now.
Yeah, and it's trading at 60 cents on Bittrex there. So it's not, a cheap coin to get in on in terms of like those penny things that we like. But it's got a community. It's got volume moving in and out of it, thankfully. And so does this sound good to you, or what are our thoughts?
When it comes to investing, healthcare sounds like just a great opportunity. So that, I think that's what brought your initial interest, and it's bringing my interest to it. I guess the one con that I see going into it is they're still a ways away from having their product essentially ready to go to market. I look at their,
that's true.
Their roadmap.
The timing.
July 2018 is when their alpha testnet is going to be taking place. So it's going to be a long road. But
well, there's two ways to look at that. I mean, on the one hand, you're right, that's a long way off. On the other hand, that means the dirtest cheap prices now.
I would say 50 cents is the cheap side. I don't want to know what it's going to be on the expensive side.
$50, baby.
But
mark
again,
it down.
But isn't that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of hubristic price point.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, it's just like
getting started with crypto. And English.
I've not heard of a coin starting at 50 cents.
You mean English?
Well, it's been around for at least 6 months there, so it didn't just start at that. It's not like an ICO that just launched and went to market. It's got some history behind it there, so it's been around to watch the actual growth of it since it first
Can you see some
kind
of
of
the
hit the
growth right
market.
now on a graph? Like, what does it look like?
And
Well, yeah, there's a.
we got it right
I'm
there.
just saying, like, do you have it up?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
It
that's
looked like a bottom out once, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and it's on a current climb right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking nice right now.
So I would imagine.
So, yeah,
that
if you
part
wanna-
of that
if you-
comes from the Crypto 101 interview that she did.
And I think we've learned too from our longtime calls, like when we were talking about Unicoin Gold. I think I said it was probably a few months from really having a real product out there, and they still are. But there's been a new story that's came out, and they're issued onto a new exchange, Bittrex, and the price has tripled.
Yeah.
So I mean, Patientory could easily do the same thing. So even though they're a ways off from having a real product in the market, we all see how crypto works. It's a news story away or being listed on a major exchange. So many different factors can drive up the price at any moment.
Yeah, and so this is not something that we're going to swing trade or do. This is something that we throw $100 in and forget about kind of thing, or whatever you want to, kind of do with that. So does this, or $5 in, I guess, because that's what we're going to invest, because that's what we invest on this podcast. So throw your $5 in and then just kind of forget about it and see what happens to it, or what do we think? You got any other suggestions that we want to chat about? So just be aware, 91% of its volume trades on Bittrex. So if you're not on there, or if you need to make a new account, you're going to run into a little bit of trouble because they have frozen new account acquisitions right now. So, but that's a good thing because it means there's still time for it to hit things like
the rest
Binance.
of us.
Yeah,
exactly.
So when it does hit something like Binance, right, and then, where most of the trading happens, that's going to be solid.
Yeah, I mean, so if it's only traded on one major exchange.
Well, it's on the key and hit BTC and Ether Delta as well.
Okay, well, I mean, Ether Delta. Anyways,
The most major of trades, Ether Delta.
I mean, the point I'm making being is that one of the great thing about getting in on early coins is being there before they start going on to other exchanges, because every time it goes onto a new exchange, there's always a little bump.
Yeah, every time. Every time. So that's something to look into. But again, make sure you do your due diligence. This is all for entertainment only, and we are not providers of any information on a professional level.